A vision without a task is but a dream. A task without a vision is drudgery. A vision and a task is the hope of the world. These words were written in 1730 on a church in Sussex, England. And that's what this podcast is about, bringing together the vision and the task to create the hope of the world in various organizations, businesses, and communities as far as the internet can reach. My name is Michael Whitehouse, and this is the Metageek Video Blog. The purpose of this is to give you ideas about how to manage volunteers, outreach, publicity, fundraising, and other organizational tools that you'll need to be successful in your organization. I come to this project from a number of different backgrounds. I have started a number of organizations, including a game store called Phoenix Games, originally intended to be a for-profit business that converted over time into a not-for-profit business. I was involved in founding a Rocky Horror Picture Show cast called Becoming End Players. I founded a science fiction convention called PyCon, and I'm currently sitting in Worlds Apart, which you can see behind me, is a community-run game store, the first of its kind. It's a non-profit business owned by its members and run entirely by volunteers. And that's exactly the kind of organization that I'm talking about in this podcast. Although you will find that many of the things I do talk about will also apply to for-profit businesses, sole proprietorships, non-profit businesses, any other kind of organization where one or more people work to do something, either make money, build a community. But hopefully in any kind of organization, your thought is towards what can you do for society to make things better. When most people think of work, they think of a task without vision, the drudgery I referred to earlier, such as working in a convenience store or even working in an office. But the purpose of such work is generally to pay the bills and make ends meet. This is not meaningful work. Although it may be important for the business you're working for, it's not often important to the person doing the work. What I talk about in this podcast is doing work that is meaningful, sometimes for money, if you're really lucky, and oftentimes not, such as my work with Worlds Apart and the other organizations I've been a part of. The important thing when trying to do such meaningful work is to know what you want to achieve. Why are you doing it? Where does this dream come from? Where does this vision come from? If you know what you want, then it's very easy to stay on track and not get sidetracked. But if you just have a vague idea of wanting to do something good, or maybe opening a game store because you like games but you're not sure what you want to do with it, then it's easy to become sidetracked and discouraged. So the first step is to seriously think about what you want to do. Write down your dreams and your vision. Talk to your friends and family and other trusted associates to flesh out the idea so you have more than just a rough concept, but a detailed concept, a vision of step by step where you want to go with it. Once you can see the end, the middle steps will generally fall into place, as long as you can maintain your commitment, your enthusiasm, your dedication, and most importantly, your positive thinking about it. What's very important in this process is not to get sidetracked. Many people will try to, helpfully, at least in their opinion, warn you about the dangers and pitfalls that you'll encounter. However, if you give too much thought to these dangers and pitfalls, you will soon find yourself thoroughly distracted from the original vision. This doesn't mean that you should just ignore other people's advice. Often they have very good insights, and just because you came up with the dream in the first place doesn't mean you know everything about it. In fact, it's entirely likely you haven't thought of some things that are less pleasant to think about. Welcome the advice and suggestion of your friends and family and even detractors. In fact, those people who you may think of as your enemies are often the best source of input because they show you the most negative things, the things your friends may wish to spare you from because they don't want to hurt you. Your enemies have no such compunctions, and thus they'll tell you the straight story. Of course, you want to take that with a grain of salt too because they don't have your best interests in mind, but perhaps they may say that you are arrogant or thoughtless or any number of things. Maybe they're saying because they're jealous, or maybe they're saying because they have a valid point. Consider it, but don't let it get you down, and don't let it distract you. Simply take all the input you can and all the feedback you can in order to mold your dream to work with reality. You don't want too much dream, and you don't want too much reality, but if you have a good balance between them, then you can achieve success. As those of you more experienced with YouTube can probably tell, this has been a first attempt at a video blog, so I thank you for bearing with me and any technical deficiencies it may have. If you wish to reach me, you can email me at metageekcast@gmail.com, or of course you can comment on this YouTube post, assuming that you are watching on YouTube. I thank you for bearing with me. In future episodes, we will be discussing how to recruit and keep motivated a volunteer base, how to do publicity and outreach as well as fundraising, and other ways to keep your dream firmly rooted on the ground while still looking up to the stars. Don't let your vision make you forget about the task, and don't make your task turn your vision into drudgery. Hope you all have a good week. See you next week in the next episode.